Okay. What's going on, everybody? My name is Mang. Welcome back to Solo Role Manging with Heroes of Adventure. So, last time, I had the bright idea to start up a magical zoo. Basically, a place where common folk could come and see magical creatures that normally they would never have a chance to see. And yeah, I mean, I guess I could have opened up just a normal zoo and gotten like some exotic creatures that aren't specifically, I mean, I guess like what is a magical creature? So I mean, like if I get an elephant or something, that's probably something they haven't seen before around these parts. So, you know, I don't think there's much to delineate. You know, something in like the bestiary from just like an exotic creature, like a giraffe. But anyways, yeah, I wanted to start a zoo. And so yeah, last time we set about paying the money to get it set up outside of Goothwall, just a small little zoo. I put in 5,000 silver. I don't know if that's high or low or anything like that, but seems okay for just a small little place outside of the walls of the town. And we needed to get sort of a prime exhibit, something that was really going to grab attention and make people travel or whatever just to come see it in an exhibit. And so we went and we captured a griffin, which was in some ways fairly easy in the end, I guess. But there was like a lot of thought and prep that went into it. And we did end up getting rather lucky, I would say, in that we didn't actually end up with like an open confrontation with the thing. But now, after spending a bunch more money, it is now contained. It is in a cage in our zoo. And I had said that the zoo is going to take like 6 weeks to be finished. Essentially meaning like, I don't know, like basically a palisade, like a big fence sort of around it to block looky-loos from just looking at my griffin without paying. And then like 4 cages, obviously one quite big to hold the griffin. Maybe, you know, some other little accoutrement to make the griffin feel a little bit more comfortable than just like a metal cage. And then maybe like a ticket booth at the front, and probably like a small building as like an office. And that's basically what we got. We don't have anything for like food or drink, you know, nothing like that on hand. Eventually, you know, we'll probably have people come in with like carts or something. But we have passed about 3 weeks' time. I figured I'd give it 3 weeks to get the big cage set up, and then we went and got the griffin. So now we have about 3 more weeks to go. And we need to spend that time accumulating some other creatures. Basically just anything that we can find somewhat locally that is kind of not commonly seen. So we don't want like a boar in here or a hawk. You know, we don't want things that the farmers out there are just kind of seeing on their daily life. So I think we are going to have to travel a little bit, probably into the forest, maybe back up into the mountain. We'll see. But I'm looking for stuff around like level 2 maybe. That is kind of unusual. Maybe level 3, we get into some of these giant creatures, like a giant crab. Maybe we could get a giant crab, but we don't have like an amphibian exhibit set up. So probably nothing that requires water to live in. Giant ants. Obviously there's the question of ethics. Hey Django, I'm doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. I don't know what we're going to be really doing today or how it's going to go, but I guess we'll see. So, you know, there's a question of, like, sapient creatures. None of that. None of that can really fly, I think. We're going to get activists. Even if it's something kind of reprehensible or generally, you know, looked down upon, like orcs or goblin. I mean, we can't have a goblin in a cage. Like, people will start picketing. And I'm sure, you know, zoos are probably not common at all in this setting. This might be the first zoo. So I'm sure we're going to get some people protesting no matter what. Especially because I got this majestic griffin in here. So we're going to have to just contend with that. But, yeah, just something cool. Like maybe this drake. I mean, we don't want to scare people, though, and that looks kind of scary. Whereas, like, this little dragon spawn is quite adorable. And these are not... This isn't a baby dragon or anything. This is its own creature. They hunt in small packs and can fly short distances. Maybe we get a couple of those. That could be good. That could be good. Although it's another kind of like flying creature. Or a winged creature. So I don't know. Maybe we're treading familiar ground. No demons. Although that would be kind of funny. A death worm. That's the thing with bestiaries like this. Everything is kind of scary. You know? Like, these are all kind of somewhat monstrous things in various ways. So, I need some concepts outside of the bestiary of just, like, magical creatures. Non-sapient just like fun things. I guess. You know. Things that wouldn't really pose a threat to you, but also, you know, would be kind of just cool. Maybe I should consult ChatGPT. Or I guess we could just Google like just fun fantasy creature stuff. I hear someone suggests a dragon snail. A large snail with highly flammable napalm-like slime. I mean, that's sort of dangerous, I think. Unless we de-slime the snail. Is that doable? But then that sort of removes its unique trait. Django, I'm not gonna be I'm not gonna be chatting about unrelated stuff. That you can save that for hanging with Mang. This is all about the solo RPG. I don't know. I kind of... There's gotta be some list of just like... I mean, here's the Imaginary Monsters subreddit, which has plenty of weird little creatures, I suppose. But these are all just like... I don't know, they're all just like blobs. Or they're like horrifying. I guess the monster part of the title makes them kind of... Or they're just silly. Like, here's a turtle with roller skates. Is that an imaginary monster? Hmm. This is probably where you would just use your creativity and come up with something. A unicorn. Okay. And that's definitely not in the bestiary. I don't think. Oh, it is a unicorn. There's a unicorn. In the depths of enchanted forest, the ethereal presence of a unicorn can be felt. Now, the one thing common across almost all unicorn material is how rare they are. I mean, it's literally like a generic term for something extremely rare and uncommon and hard to find. But I guess if I spend 3 weeks searching for a unicorn, and now that's assuming that, like, if we bring up the map, we would say, oh, look at this big forest near Guthwald. I bet there's a unicorn in there. And then your DM would probably be like, if they're not an asshole, they would be like, yep, sure. You know, if the group's going to spend 3 weeks searching a forest, let's just say there's a unicorn in there. And I'm noticing that, you know, when I'm DMing now for my family, it's just that's kind of how it goes, of whatever your preconceived thoughts or notions about a situation is, it's kind of always flexible. Just because you don't want to just stonewall players, and you don't want to just kind of deny them or shut down all their thoughts, you know, things like that. So you kind of go along with what they're thinking sometimes, or a lot of the time. I mean, sometimes, yeah, they're really dumb. Players can be really dumb and just go on a thread that just does not make any sense, and it has to be shut down, but yeah, a lot of time you just kind of go with it. And placing a unicorn in this forest is not really that big of a deal. And we kind of already know it's a little bit of an unusual forest, because we had a giant frog that was a serial killer. So I guess there could be a unicorn in there. Now, I already had some qualms about caging a griffin. Now I'm gonna cage a unicorn? It says here, those who seek to harm it are warned of the dire consequences that befall those who dare to extinguish such a rare and precious beacon of magic. Now, I'm not extinguishing it, but I'm also not really doing a good thing Um... I mean, gosh, I'm like getting into like are zoos ethical in general? There must be some cases. Here you go. While zoo advocates and conservationists argue that zoos save endangered species and educate the public, many animal rights activists believe the cost of confining animals outweighs the benefits, and that the violation of the rights of individual animals, even in efforts to fend off extinction, cannot be justified. Seems like PETA is not a fan of zoos, and they argue that they are not educational because they're not in their natural environment. I mean, I guess, yeah, it's a subject of a debate. But it probably leans towards being unethical in general. I mean, we're too far in now. We cannot back out based on a simple concept of ethics. So let's just, kind of bend our thinking a little bit and try and make it seem like a good thing. We're saving this unicorn from potential, death by other hunters and things like that. And maybe we can get 2 unicorns and we can breed them and save them from extinction. Perfect. So, sure, let's go hunt a unicorn. I said already I didn't need anything that crazy outside of the griffin, and now I'm going after a unicorn. But I don't think the unicorn will be difficult outside of finding it. And you could just make this like a non-stop series of rolls. Like if you roll a 20, you find a unicorn, and you can roll every like few hours you're in the forest. We could do it that way. We could do it as more of like an involved sort of skill check or investigation. Or we could just hand wave the whole thing and say 3 weeks go by and we get our unicorn. Well, the thing is, the argument against hand waving it is that the forest is not that safe of a place. We already know that. We found a dungeon run by a serial killer frog. So chances are, if we're parading around in the forest, we're going to find something bad. Okay. Yeah, I think we're gonna go with the first plan. I'm gonna rest another day. So I guess the night of the 28th. So we get back to full. And I mean, I have advantage on all wilderness survival rolls. Because I am a ranger. Now, wilderness survival. Survival, navigating, or tracking. So we do get advantage on our tracking rolls. So that would be for trying to find a unicorn. So I don't think we really need to hire anybody. I guess it comes down again to the actual capture. What are we thinking for a unicorn? I mean, we probably want to knock it out again, right? The unicorn, I imagine, is a little better for, like, throwing a net over it and then getting some liquid down its throat. Not that easy, but easier than the griffin. So maybe we do still want to hire, like, some sellswords. But this is going to be stealthy kind of operation. Because what I'm imagining... I mean, the classic image of, like, a unicorn drinking from a small pool of water in the middle of a glade. That's sort of what I'm imagining. But that unicorn has to sleep somewhere. So, I guess we follow it to its lair. Where do unicorns sleep? As if they're real creatures. Oh, here you go. Here's a great website that will answer all our questions. MagicalUnicornLife.com. This is perfect. They know all about unicorns. Do unicorns sleep? It says they don't need to eat. They get energy from the sun through their horns. But they do like eating, though. Unicorns do need to sleep. Their muscles don't need to rest, obviously. That obviously is doing a lot of lifting there. Unicorns never get sore muscles, no matter how much they run. However, their magical minds do need to rest. So unicorns need to sleep like all animals. They don't need much sleep, though. They prefer to sleep standing up. Wow, I didn't know that. They do lie down at times, but only for a brief deep sleep session. When unicorns lie down, that's when they're usually dreaming. That's the case with horses, too. Well, that's convenient. They only sleep around 3 hours per day. It's the same for horses. Okay, I mean, if all your info about unicorns is just what horses do, I don't know how credible this website is. Unicorns sleep in the place they call their home. Brilliant. Much like people. Many unicorns spend most of their time in a forest, and that's where they sleep too. Unicorns feel safe under the trees. Some unicorns sleep in caves. And then the article ends with, I wish sweet unicorn dreams for all. Similar post, 26 cute unicorn pictures. What is a slothicorn? And unicorns in the Middle Ages. Oh my god. Here's a similar site, unicornwonders.com. I'm sure none of these sites will give me computer viruses. Unicorns are said to live in forests, meadows, and glades. They're also said to be found near springs of water. As for where they sleep, no unicorns don't sleep on rainbows, as you might see in movies or on TV. Unicorns sleep in fields of flowers and beds of moss and leaves. In a few cases, they sleep in caves. Okay, well, this is two separate sites that both confirm that unicorns do occasionally sleep in caves. All right, I'm willing to go with that. Now, let's go for a different angle here. I just want to know where wild horses sleep. So yeah, they can sleep on their feet. They sleep out in the open. Their legs kind of lock in place so the rest of their body relaxes. And if they hear any sign of danger, they can wake up and run in an instant. Oh, okay. All right, we can go with that. That's kind of interesting. Yeah. So, the unicorn, you know, it drinks from the magical pond in this perfect little glade, and then it sleeps standing up next to the pond in the perfect little glade. And from the sound of it, it never needs to ever leave the perfect little glade. Because as we learned, they absorb energy from the sun through their horn. So I feel like we just need to find a perfect little glade. And undoubtedly there will be a unicorn either there or soon to be there. Maybe it, gets some exercise. I don't know. Their muscles, of course, don't ever get sore. Obviously. We learned that. Knowledge behind the kill? No killing. Very bad to kill a unicorn. Many people would be very upset with me. The people at unicornwonders.com would not like to hear such things. Okay, so it does complicate things a little bit. The cave is sort of somewhat simple. We can trap it in there and blah blah blah. But that would be a very good reason, I guess, why it wouldn't sleep in a cave. If it can just sleep standing up and is very kind of alert at a moment's notice, and then it could just run. And horses kind of they probably depend on outrunning predators, I guess. So our best case scenario then is coming across a sleeping unicorn, which isn't really that great because we're gonna have to be extremely stealthy. Except that I can teleport and I can go into a shadow form. So me myself getting up next to the unicorn, not that tough. Do I just like hop on its back and try and tame it? Like the cowboys of old? Did that really ever used to work? Is that something that occurred? I feel like we're gonna get off on these tangents non-stop. Not that it occurred with unicorns, but I feel like that's a video game thing. That's like Breath of the Wild or something. I don't think people actually just like hopped on a wild horse and then it was like, okay, this is my life now. I guess I'll just be tamed. I can't get this person off my back, so that's it now. So that seems ridiculous. Let's ignore that. Getting... Oh, right. So last time we discussed the idea of like drinking this sleeping concoction versus like injecting it into their bloodstream in some way. And people last time argued that injecting it would be like way faster and more effective, assuming that you didn't like overdose. So I guess maybe we just get like a blow dart. Because I don't think syringes exist. I imagine that was not invented just yet. And actually, I mean, darts exist. What I'm going on another tangent here. What exactly is a dart? It's not, No, I mean apparently, yeah, it's sort of like a dart you throw in a, when you're playing darts. It's probably just like more pointed for more piercing. It's not blunted or anything. Okay, so we could just buy darts, and then I don't even need a blow dart. I could just teleport next to it and then just stab it in, which is like minimal damage. But that's a very small amount. Like, it's not a syringe. You're not injecting like a load into the target. It's just what's on the surface of the point. So maybe we just grab like 5 darts in our fist, all coated, and then we just stab all those in. It's not very gentle, but I think it'll work. Either that or we look to buy another scroll. Something to just like immobilize it, or, suspend it. Something of that sort. There is, I mean, the float spell. I guess we didn't really go over many specifics of that. Tangle. So there's Tangle. That's a magic. I mean, it sounds like they'd break through pretty easily. I wouldn't want to rely on that versus the darts. Because then, of course, we have to transport it back. No, I guess we'll probably go with the sleeping dart method, and we'll just use like, I don't know, 5. I don't know what would be an appropriate number. What do we dream sleep, I think, was what we bought. You just, it's unclear how much dream sleep you're getting for 300 silver. It's a one-time use. There's also a sleep potion, fortitude save or sleep. But it sounds like dream sleep is just sleep. Like, there's no save. And that's why it's a lot more expensive. There's also a paralyzing compound, but that's for 10 minutes. Yeah, that's why we're spending 300, is because we kind of know that it will work. But if... See, I kind of cheated last time, I feel, because it was 300, and that was enough to get the griffin to fall asleep. Although, to be fair, it woke up mid-flight, so it was not asleep for very long whatsoever. It was asleep for, like, 20 minutes. So I guess that's probably okay. The unicorn might be asleep for, like, an hour. And I think that's perfectly fine, because after we put it to sleep, we'll tie it up. And get it onto, like, a cart. And strap it down to the cart. It's really... We're just not doing good things. I thought I was a good guy. Falling apart. It's gonna work out. The unicorn will thank us eventually. So, we need a cart. It says here a cart is 150. And we'll probably need it for the other animals, so I may as well invest it. A riding horse, a draft horse is 200. So I guess let's spend 350 for a cart and horse, and then another 300 for the dream sleep. That's 650. And now I have to do math, and I hate it. 6 through that, I think, correct? And we still have the net, so that's all good. I don't know what else. Well, we still have the chains because we took all that off the Griffin. So I think we're good. And then it's just hiring maybe some laborers to kind of just help me lift the unicorn onto the cart. I mean, I could maybe teleport it, but I don't want to fuck with it that way. That's not good. So we're just going to hire a couple laborers. Can 3 men lift a horse? More questions from solo RPGs. How many men does it take to lift a horse? Surely having at least 3 to 4 able-bodied people. Okay. That is fine. Yeah, we'll just go with two laborers then. So the thing is, I'm gonna need them to go out with me like every day. Until we find the unicorn, because I can't like find it and then leave and come back. Although I guess if we find like its glade and we don't spook it, we can probably assume it's going to keep returning to that glade. I could ask unicornwonders.com. They might know. What the fuck? What am I doing? I just googled, do unicorns only frequent one glade? Oh, God. It doesn't sound like I'm getting a real answer on that question. But I don't think it's... I don't know. I mean, it's not a creature that exists. I think we need to keep that in mind. But if it can get sustenance from the sun, we're looking for somewhere with sunlight, which is, I think, sort of what a glade implies. Yes, a glade is an open space surrounded by woods, so it's kind of like a clearing. So there's sunlight, that's key. And I don't think it really needs water, even though that's kind of a classic. I think it just stands in the sunlight there, and it likes that. So it seems too easy to find a unicorn if they were just looking for glades. Like pockets in the forest that get ambient, you know, like an ample amount of sunlight. How many of those could there possibly be? And if the unicorns sleep there as well, I mean, what do they do? What is their existence? I guess what's the existence of any wild animal? But it's... They don't really need to roam anywhere. It says here they have a passive ability of magic source. I'm not quite sure what that is. Monster or object possesses a source of magic power. This grants the stated power points of magic or can be used for crafting. Okay. I'm not really sure how to adjudicate that. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it all comes down to the glade. Let me do one more. See, apparently there's a unicorn in Hogwarts Legacy, so that's thrown off a lot of my searches. Also, apparently there's a term in certain communities called a unicorn, which I'm not really going to go into. But it's well, it's not what we're looking for right now. That's all I can say. Okay. This is all nonsense. This is for like people playing with their kids or something, and they want to play with a unicorn. I'm doing serious business with this unicorn, all right? I want serious responses. All right, fuck it. We're just gonna make some decisions here. I'm done Googling. The only, yeah, the big thing that I'm trying to decide is like, why are unicorns so hard to find and so hard to catch if all they do is just stay in like a glade in a forest? There has to be some other element there that makes them just damned elusive, right? And it has to be more than just like they're a horse and they run away. They're magical. I mean, that's a key aspect. So what about them is magical other than the fact that they absorb energy from the sun through their horn? It calls them a beacon of magic. But I don't want to just suddenly apply magical effects to them that are not, you know, like they just can teleport, you know, or things like that. Like that, they're a level 3 creature. They're not that powerful. So, I don't know. Maybe they're not that elusive? One of the hooks here is that it's being pursued by hunters with nets trying to capture it, which is sort of what we're doing. So maybe they frequent various glades. Maybe they do move through the forest. They don't just hang out in glades, but that's where they sleep. And although it wouldn't make much sense for them to sleep, although they only sleep for 3 hours. But yeah, let's say they traverse the forest and kind of bounce between different glades, and they know where all the glades are. So if we find a glade, there's definitely no guarantee there's a unicorn there, and there might not be one there for a while. So that brings us to the decision of, do we just stake out one glade until a unicorn shows up? Or do we map out the various glades and try and like follow it and track it that way? Which means that I can't find the unicorn and then go and get the laborers with the cart and the horse and come back. I think the best bet then is to stake out one glade. We stake out one glade, wait for the unicorn to come up by ourselves. It appears, we teleport next to it, we hit it with the darts, we put it to sleep. Then we rush over somewhat nearby where the laborers are waiting. And we get them over with the cart. And we load it up. Now the problem is, in that situation, I would be leaving no one to watch the unicorn while I go and get the laborers. Unless they're so close that they're within, like, sight line of the unicorn. But that seems... I don't trust laborers and a horse to be stealthy in any way whatsoever. Shit. Shit. I may have to hire someone that is stealthy just to accompany me. We may have to go with that ranger again. Okay. That's what we'll do. So I need to buy the... I didn't buy the darts, although it didn't seem expensive. Oh, I can never find anything in this bookmark list. Darts, I get 10 of them for 50. Then for the cost of hiring the dudes. First, we need to find a glade. That's step one. So I'm just going to do that on my own. And I'm not going to hire anybody just yet. And then once we know the location of the glade, then we can begin the whole staking out process and hire people and blah, blah, blah. So for now, I guess I'm just going to go into the forest by myself and start looking for a glade. Went into forest to find glade. Unicorn glade. Alright. So in this case, I don't know if you could, like, really, like, intuit or, like, you know, deduce where a glade is in a big forest. I feel like it's kind of blind luck. Right? I mean, what would really point me towards... I guess the easiest way, to be honest, would be to just fly above the area. But I don't want to use flight totems if I don't have to. So I think we're just going to be walking through the woods, which offers up plenty of chances for danger. No doubt about it. The random encounter table. So this says at the end of each turn. And turns are half a day? Wilderness turn. I mean, that's what we're at, right? Wilderness turn. So that's half a day. Okay. That seems really low, to be honest. But I guess, sure, it's just not that, it's not that dangerous of a forest. Then we have to decide what are the odds of us finding the glade. Just canvassing this big-ass forest. Well, let's do it this way. Let's work with the random encounter roll. So, random encounter check, you roll a d20, and the first one, if you roll a 1, you get a random encounter. Then the next time you do it, if you get a 1 or a 2, you get a random encounter. Then a 1, 2, or 3. We'll just flip it. So if I get a 20, I find a glade. Then if I get a 19 or a 20, I find a glade, and so on and so forth. I think that's the easiest way to do it. All right, so that's basically 2 rolls a day. So the odds of us finding it in the first day are very slim. But let's just do it. So first check. 16, nothing. Second check for the 29th. 15, nothing. So now we're on now it's the 30th. So now it's going to be 18, 19, 20 is a glade. We rolled a 1, so we get a random encounter, no glade. Okay, let us roll our random encounter then. But this is so... It's a weird random encounter table, I feel. Like, we have equal odds of finding, like, a dragon as we do a giant rat. Or, you know, any other sort of forest creature, like a bear, you know? Or we have an equal odds of finding a plot faction. It's just sort of all over the place. I wish there was a better one. I'm sure, I guarantee there's a better one. Somewhere. Let's see. D100 table of forest encounters and events. Here you go. Look at all this stuff. Alright, I'm not even going to look at this list. Let's just roll one and we'll see what we get. Well, then we'll see how I like it. 39. Okay, hold on. A blue mist starts emerging from the woods. The adventurers enter a fey-like forest, enchanted and colorful. Oh! Okay, on the one hand, seems like a big pain in the ass. On the other hand, it seems kind of like the perfect opportunity to find our unicorn. Okay. Let me just assume that did happen. No, I don't remember. Yeah, okay. These, why are there objects and stuff in the bestiary? It seems weird to me. So we have sprites as being like fey creatures. And that's kind of it. That's kind of it. Which is weird. What else would be in here? What is a good fey enemy and things that I could fight or encounter? Solo RPGs is all about just looking up stuff and just trying to logically think of stuff that happens. I mean, what? Yeah, Fae is just like fairies and sprites, and I guess you could have elemental creatures and stuff. But we're getting really into like a whole other phenomena. There's 15 Fae type monsters. Boggles, I remember those. Satyrs, Blink Dogs, Pixies, Quicklings, Redcaps, Dryads, Darklings, Yethhounds, Meanlocks, Corrids. Never heard of any of this shit. Hags, Eladrin. Obviously, this is like a D&D list. Trostani, and Screaming Devilkin. Really? Screaming Devilkin in a Fae setting. Yeah, I mean, hags, redcaps, obviously. Okay, let me just think for a moment. If I want to actually do this roll and go through into some, like, Fae encounter. If I was just DMing for a group of people, and I know I say that all the time during these streams, it would be like, okay, I mean, you know, we'll send them through, and I could have some fairies come up and, like, demand stuff from them, and there could be dialogue. But I really, like, I'm not that interested in dialogue with myself during these sessions, so we're kind of hand-waving that stuff. But this seems like kind of the encounter. Unless I just... Let me just re-roll. Maybe we'll get something that just speaks to me, jumps out at me a little bit more. 35. From a bush, a swarm of mutant wasps emerges and clouds the sky. Holy shit. Okay. The thing is, though, that's like... I mean, this is... Here, okay, fine, we'll do that, because honestly, this is just a perfect example of how fucking powerful I am already for just situations like this. Because I can just do Shadow Form, or Shroud, either one. And nothing, because the text here says, the party must hide quickly or get attacked by the swarm. And if you're in a group and there's like 6 of you and you got like a big dumb fighter and a paladin and stuff, like, yeah, okay, like you have a situation on hand. But a solo player that can just go invisible at will, I mean, forget about it. Like, it's nothing. So sure, while I'm wandering the forest, a giant cloud of mutant wasps just starts swarming around. And I guess I'll use Shadow Form, assuming I make my roll. 13. I don't need to check anything else. So now I'm a shadow, and they just fly off. Or even if they don't fly off, I can just keep moving in Shadow Form. And there's really not a goddamn thing they can do about it. I mean, I'll read you the spell yet again, just to make myself feel even better. Shadow Form. Turn the caster into a shadowy form, allowing them to move and slip into small gaps. Cannot be targeted, act, or engage others whilst in Shadow Form. Cannot be targeted in any way. They can do nothing to me. Now, this says turns 2, and if I guess we could have rolled initiative, although it says that the party must hide or be attacked, so technically combat had not initiated. They had not seen me yet. So I don't know how you'd really interpret that, but either way, I'm out of there. Shroud does last an encounter, which is 10 minutes, so it probably would have been better. And I don't think they would have just swarmed a sound. I don't think that's how wasps work. I don't know. Do wasps see stuff? Yeah, wasps have... Do wasps have eyes, is the question on the table. Yes, like all insects, they have a compound or faceted eye. They have compound or faceted eyes. So yeah, they see stuff. So I could have gone invisible, but it's fine. We're all good. Okay, so that was that random encounter. That was the first check of the second day. So now we're on 17, 18, 19, or 20 to find a glade. We got a 16, so now we're on the 31st. 15 through 20 gets us a glade. 8, nope. Second check of the 31st. Actually, I don't know if there is a May 31st. I don't know my months very well. No, there's... Oh, no, there is May 31st. Perfect. It's the second check of May 31st. This is 14 through 20. Boom. We found our glade. Okay. So... let's do a roll to see if there is a unicorn here as we speak. We're going to make this deterministic, and we're going to roll twice and take the lowest. We're going to roll with disadvantage, because I think it's pretty unlikely for us to be that fortunate. So, we got 4 and 4, so no. There's no unicorn here. Let us then check the glade to see if there is ever a unicorn, like if there's any signs that a unicorn occasionally checks this area, goes around this area. So this is going to be wilderness survival, and I get advantage on it. See, but then this is two things, right? This is one, the player checking, but then two, the DM, I have to decide if it's true or not. Because I could fail the roll, but it could be true. Or I could make the roll, but it could be false. So it's really two separate things. So I guess let's do the roll to see if I find out if there's a unicorn here. And then we'll roll in that case to determine the situation. Alright, so wilderness survival. I need a DC for this. I mean, it's a horse, right? It's kind of a big-ish animal, but it's also magical. So maybe it's really stealthy. Let's make it hard. Let's go with a DC 15. Well, one of those was a 17. Yeah, so we're already good. Perfect. Alright, so now we need to determine if a unicorn ever frequents the area. I'm tempted to roll this one with advantage, just because... clearly, there's not that many glades. It took me a few days to find one. So, let's roll deterministic with advantage. We got 5 and 5, so a weak no. Shit. Okay, so in that case, basically, I find, like, very faint tracks. Like, a unicorn has not been here in quite a while. Now, does that mean that it's never going to come back? I don't know. But it hasn't been back in a while. And that's good. I mean, for the sake of the game, that's good. Because now I have to decide if I want to stake out this long shot, or do I want to keep looking for another glade? God. Probably we want to keep looking for another glade. To be honest. So let's, that was the 31st. So now it's going to be June 1st. And let's restart the rolls. Because, I don't know. I assume these aren't going to be near each other. Especially if there is a unicorn in this forest and it hasn't been to this glade in a while. it's either dead or someone else captured or killed, you know, whatever, or there's another glade somewhere else that it frequents. So let's start it over. 1 and 20. Nothing. Okay, second roll. 1920. Nothing. On to June 2nd. I mean, keep in mind, we have like 3 weeks before the zoo's finished. And even then, like, we can take as long as we need before we open. I mean, within reason. I think there probably is taxes of some sort I have to pay. But all right, so June 2nd, first roll. This is 18, 19, 20. We got a 5. Second roll, 17, 19, 18, 19, 20. We got a 19. We found another glade. So it wasn't that far. Let's do the same roll to see if there is a unicorn here currently. So disadvantage 7 and 2. So no, there's no unicorn here. Let's do the wilderness survival check again. 12 plus a D4. 1, 13. So I failed. So maybe it's too cluttered or something. Maybe there's too many tracks through this. I don't know. But for whatever reason, I cannot determine if a unicorn has been here recently or not. Or a horse, really. They're probably pretty similar. So the other one is a known long shot. This one is an unknown. But I guess we're going to go with this one, regardless. So I sort of, you know, I'm a ranger. I understand the forest. So we're going to note the location of this glade. And then we're going to head out, get our laborers, and I'm going to hire a ranger. So June 3rd, hired 2 laborers and 1 ranger. So that total price, and this ranger, I think it probably can be level 1. I'm not going to sweat it too much. So that's 20 for them, 5 for the labor, so that's 30 a day. Per day. All right. So I guess, yes, I'm paying them 30 for today. And then, yeah, I mean, I don't know how we determine, like, how far the glade is from, like, the edge of the forest. I guess a deterministic roll, and we just kind of tick down until we get a respawn. All right. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the easiest way. Unless there is a distance. No, I don't think there is a distance. No. All right, so I'm going to roll. I doubt it's more than an hour away. That seems like a massive forest. Although maybe not. I guess maybe not. If you're just walking across a forest, an hour isn't that long. I've spent a very small percentage of my life in a forest, so I don't really have a good... Everything I know is from film, which is not a great way to measure things. So maybe it's further than an hour away. I think regardless, we're just gonna have the laborers and the cart and the horse go like 20 minutes away from the glade. And I understand the potential difficulties of bringing a horse and cart through a forest. I'm aware of that. But they'll make do. They have to. It's their job. Alright. So, the morning of June 3rd, we head out. And when we're like 20 minutes away from the glade, I have the laborers and the horse and cart stop there. Probably took us a while to get there with the horse and cart. And the cart is holding the chains and the net. Although I don't know if we need a net. I don't know. And then the ranger and I are just going to kind of sit there. And so now we need to do rolls to determine how long we sit there before the unicorn shows up. And again, I think we really need to emphasize their elusiveness. This isn't something that the average hunter is just gonna like hunt down a unicorn and kill it and blah blah blah. So these things we can't really apply that much like mundane logic to. So I think it just has to be kind of rough. Like, we may have to be here a while. So, to be honest, I think we're just going to keep doing the rolls that we have been doing. Twice a day and just kind of descending on a D20. So, we might be out here a long time. I don't know how the people I've hired will feel about stuff like that. I don't think there's any rules for, like, boredom. But I suppose the two laborers and the horse and the cart, they could get attacked by a random encounter. So I guess if I roll a random encounter, we'll then determine if it happens to me and the ranger or the laborers. We'll do it that way. Alright. So first roll for June 3rd. 18. Damn, that's pretty close. Second roll. 11. Nothing. Okay. I mean, we probably want to, like, head back every night, although that feels, like, extremely annoying. With the fucking horse and cart. We haven't really decided, like, how difficult it is for the horse and cart. I wonder if there's a Google search there. Wagons without roads. In real life, there are very few actual forests where you could make it very far with a wagon without downing trees. Okay. Now, I guess we could bring up the fact that the forest we're in is not completely, like, off on its own and isolated. Hold on. Let me bring up the map. The master map. Somewhere among all my shit. Here we go. So we are in one of these forests. I guess we never really decided, and I kind of lumped it together. Maybe the further away forest. I don't know. But there are bridges here, and there is kind of a road. Like, how well maintained the road is kind of up for debate. But there is a road. So I think if we include that in our calculations, and when we have the laborers and the cart go on this road, and then we determine distance from the road to the glade, I think things will probably work out better. So I think in that case, yeah, we probably go back. We may not go back all the way to Guthwald every night. Like, maybe we go over here to whatever the fuck I named this town that I didn't put on the map. Or this one. Like, I'm kind of hand-waving the actual location of this glade for the moment. But one of these two we go to every night. So I guess I have to include, like, room costs in my numbers. Let's see here. A room per night. Well, we don't all need rooms. I mean, these are laborers. So beds per night. So that's an extra 8. And stabling, so let's say 10. And also the thought of food. So basically, for laborers per day, that's going to be 5. And for me and the ranger per day, that's 5. So that's an extra 20 per day that we're spending. This is not a cheap expedition we're on. 50 silver a day. And we could be here a good number of days before our unicorn even shows up. All right, so we're just going to get the master cost at the end. And then we'll deduct it from our bank account. All right, so that was June 3rd. So first roll of the 4th. So this is now 18, 19, 20. We got a 4, and we narrowly avoided a random counter there. Second roll, 17, 18, 19, 20. Nothing. Okay, so that's another 50 silver. We're on the 5th. This is getting rough. This is very boring. 16 through 20. Nope. Second roll, 15 through 20. Boom. Unicorn shows up. Holy shit. I mean, oh god, waiting 3 days. And then it finally appears as it gently approaches this magical pool of water. I think we'd be remiss if we didn't do some form of stealth check. Because this is a very alert creature. It basically survives by being fast and by being aware. So I think I'm going to give us both advantage on our rolls. Because we're kind of like... I assume we've set up like a blind or, you know, something. Like, we're really kind of nestled in there. Just waiting. And we're obviously not making any noise. So I think it would be pretty tough for it to see us. I guess I could do senses check for the unicorn with disadvantage. That might be an easier way. Or maybe just a better way. So I guess we'll do it that way. But I still need a DC either way. I mean, I guess I could set it at, like, I don't know. I feel like it would be tough. I mean, isn't that the point of, like, hunting blinds and stuff? Is that these animals don't realize you're there. That's the whole point. Again, I don't know anything about hunting. So I don't know how often hunters are like noticed without them making a move or a sound. Maybe I shouldn't make a stealth check. I don't know. Does anyone hunt? Does anyone know? I don't think is this like a stupid question? I mean, I know obviously like animals get spooked at very slight sounds and movements and stuff, but that's the thing, like that's usually when the hunter although again, I can only base this off movies and television shows, but it's usually like when the hunter is like getting their weapon ready or into position or something like that, and then the animal hears that. I don't know. All right, let's just set the DC at 20. I'm going to set the DC at 20. I'm going to give this thing disadvantage. Just because I feel like this is not the point of failure. It does get a D4, but yeah, it's going to have to roll really well twice. 16, 17. So a 16, he gets a D4. There is a chance. 3. Okay, he got a 19 on a 20 DC with disadvantage. Holy shit. So I guess that's fair. That the animal is really like on edge. Okay. Now we have to do the thing. Now we have to actually do this. So I've got the darts in hand. They're coated, I guess. I mean, I don't know if I pre-coated them. I don't know if they would just dry off. Like, I bought this concoction like a week ago. So maybe I have to coat it now. I don't know if I should make a roll to see if it makes too much noise. That's literally what I was just talking about, like the hunter preparing their weapon. I suppose I kind of have to, don't I? This is the point of failure right here. So I'm gonna roll an agility. Against the unicorn's, I mean, it doesn't really matter, senses, but really, all of its rolls are the same. So the DC, the unicorn's roll, is 13. Okay, I have to beat a 13. I rolled a 20. All right, boom. I'm stealthy as shit. How's it going? It's going fairly well. It's taken us a long time to get to this point, but I'm about to capture a unicorn. Okay, so I have the darts in hand. They're freshly coated in the sleeping concoction. And now I'm going to teleport next to the unicorn so that I can stab it with all 5 darts. I went with 5. I mean, I have 10, but I feel like that might be unwieldy in one hand. I guess I could double fist it, but that seems like a lot. I don't want to make it overdose. Yeah, damn right, a unicorn. So we're just gonna go with 5, and we're gonna just assume that that's enough. So let's do the magic check for teleport, for portal. Shit. Alright, I failed. Now, again, I don't think that really matters in, like, a peaceful, calm situation. It doesn't really mention any sort of, like, verbal component to spellcasting or anything like that. And I didn't roll a 1, so... Oh, yeah, that's fine. So I don't think anything really happens other than I lose the HP. So let's go again. A 7 and a 3. That's a 10. Good enough. We got it. So we have teleported next to the unicorn. Now, I could do like an initiative roll-off to see if I go first or if it runs away first. But honestly, I don't think it would even have a moment to react. I mean, I'm not even like if I could suddenly teleport behind a cat, I could probably pick up the cat. Right? Like, it wouldn't really have a... I mean, picking it up, that's even harder than what I'm doing. I'm literally just stabbing a horse. So I don't think I need to roll. I think I get the darts in. Again, I could roll for an attack roll, but I think this is like an unsuspecting target. So we get the darts in. So now we need to decide... is it enough sleeping concoction? Is it too much? Is it just enough? Does it pass out instantly? So, I guess I need an initial question here. Kind of want it to be... No, I mean, I guess we have to go just question by question here. I did fail. Well, I failed the first portal check. Nothing happened. My spell just fizzled. And then I cast it again. It's not like I'm being attacked by guards or something and they get a turn. We were out of combat. Okay. So... you suppose. There's no rules for magic failing or anything. The only thing is a critical failure if you roll a 1. And I didn't roll a 1. So, you know. Alright, let's check. I find the overdose option to be pretty unlikely. But I guess we should roll just in case. So let's roll deterministic with disadvantage. Does the unicorn overdose on dream sleep? Okay, the answer is no. I rolled 2s twice. Does the unicorn pass out or go unconscious immediately? And I think this, maybe we just roll straight D10 and just see. 6. Weak, yes. Okay. I think probably in that case it doesn't quite go unconscious. But maybe it's like staggering around. It runs away a little bit. Yeah, like it does not make it far, no matter what. But yeah, it definitely starts moving. It's not instantaneous. So the ranger and I are rushing after it. And, yeah, I mean, I think at that point then, I don't know what else could really happen that would be interesting. Unless we start consulting its, like, magical abilities. But I don't know, the book doesn't say, and I don't know what magical, like, unicorns don't cast spells. That's never been a thing that's ever happened. They're just, like, innately magical in some... They absorb energy through their horn. That's it. So yeah, I don't know of much else interesting that would happen. And then it, magic sense like an antenna. I mean, we did make it very, like, elusive and very alert. You missed right before you came in. It got a roll to try and detect us when we were hiding out, and I gave it disadvantage, and it still, like, was one number off from finding us. So it's, yeah, it was good. But I think it collapses. Now, how long it collapses for and is unconscious for, we'll see. But for right now, it's there. So I think I'm going to send the ranger off to get the laborers. And I guess I didn't bring the chain with me. So I feel like we kind of have to decide how long it takes for them to get here and how long the unicorn's unconscious for. Because I don't really have any means of, like, wrangling this thing. Yeah, I mean, what happens if this thing wakes up? I'm gonna have to just, like, ride it. Do I have well, I specifically said all the chain and stuff that I brought is on the cart, which he's going to get with the horse and the laborers. So, oh, I mean, maybe we would have brought the net, I guess, because that's not noisy or anything like that, and that's not that cumbersome. So let's just say we brought the net. And I'm going to put the net over it, and I'll find some rocks in the area. And I'll weigh it down with rocks. Okay, so... basically, without getting into nitty-gritty of distances and whatever, all we really want to know is, does the unicorn wake up before they arrive? So let's do a deterministic roll. I think with disadvantage. I think we... I mean, maybe that... I don't know. Sure. We'll be fair to ourselves. A weak no is what we got. So basically, as they arrive, it's starting to, like, stir. Which isn't not great at all. Because now we're going to have to, like, chain it while it's starting to thrash. There's 4 of us, though. And I want to say 4 of us can hold down a unicorn. Otherwise, I kind of doubt that I used all the dream sleep. Just, like, coding 5 darts with it. So maybe we could just inject some more into it. Let's do it that. Let's do that. Let's just use up all the dream sleep. I mean, that shit costs 300 silver. A laborer would have to work 2 months to afford that. Every day. So, yeah. Let's... I've got some dream sleep left over. We've got some more darts, and we just inject a little bit more into it. Alright, then we chain it up. Nice and secure. and we chain it. We haul it onto the cart, and we secure it to the cart as well, and then we start heading back. And it probably takes a decent amount of time. In fact, it's 100% guaranteed the unicorn does wake up. On the trip. But I set the DC for the chains for the Griffin at 30. So let's set it similarly for the unicorn. So I'm going to give him a strength roll. And basically, he rolls a 20, he breaks out of the chain. Okay, he didn't roll 20. So I think, yeah, in that case, we make it back. And we get him in a cage. Job done. 2 incredible magical creatures. So that was a total of 150 silver we spent. Technically, I don't need to pay for the final lodging, so 140, which is perfect. Okay. Managed to capture unicorn successfully. Boom. Hot damn. I mean, that seems like even bigger crime. Would it be messed up if I captured a dragon or maybe a wyvern? All right, well, I'll shut down your dragon suggestion immediately. Because I am going with the bestiary here. And that puts dragons at level 10. 150 health, 18 defense with 3 damage resistance. They get D20s to all their D20 rolls. So they roll 2 D20s for every check they make and add it together. Their combat, they attack twice a turn with D20s for damage. They have dark vision out to far. They make wind attacks, fire breath, swipes. Dragons are in the setting, but they are extremely powerful. I was trained by a dragon. Not quite. I was raised by my uncle, who eventually became like the servant of a dragon. And I think the bestiary here makes them a bit more like bestial, like they're not like D&D dragons, where I am imagining a little bit more like D&D dragons. So they do have like intelligence and they can communicate and blah blah blah. As for a wyvern, maybe. Do we have a wyvern? No. Oh yeah, we do. Wyvern. Level 5. But the thing is, I already have like a flying creature. You know, I have a griffin. So maybe someday we'll have a wyvern, but I kind of want to diversify a little bit more than that. A yeti would be cool, but I don't know if that's inhumane. Yeti have been spotted with odd garments and equipment, suggesting some intelligence. So I don't want to be... I don't really want to be at the forefront of that discussion, you know. What if I got a dragon egg? Oh my god, dude, you're setting, like, some extremely obscene goals for me. I already have, like, 2 very rare, hard-to-find creatures in my tiny zoo. So I only have a couple more cages, and I want to put just, like, a magical slug in them or something. You know? At this point, yeah, I just want something basic. Maybe a velociraptor or 2. Or a tiger. But I don't think we have tigers on this continent. So probably no on that. Really, I mean, really, just something kind of basic. It doesn't even have to be from this bestiary. It could just be anything. I'm just trying to think of like weird magical creatures from movies and stuff that I could throw in here. Or rock monsters. We'd have to feed them minerals and gems, though. Unless they eat rocks, then maybe. Spider, wolf, phoenix, golem. I didn't really want spiders just because I didn't want to scare the kids that come to the zoo. Wolves are way too common. I mean, every Tom, Dick, and Harry has seen a wolf or is well enough familiar with them. I mean, I could, I guess, but I don't know. I kind of wanted somewhat unusual. Phoenix, that's got to be pretty uncommon. And a golem. Magical construct. I mean, it's cool. It's not really an animal, but it is cool. Maybe. Giant snakes. I guess it's the question I would have is how giant is giant. This says it's huge. Huge. That means it's the size of a dragon. No. I think we're gonna hand wave it. I think we're just gonna hand wave this. Insofar as like actually hunting it. We did 2 big hunts, and I think that's good for now. So we're gonna hand wave and say we just find and capture a couple of other creatures. I do want aquatic animals eventually, but I feel like I need like an aquatic wing to the zoo, or you know, an aquatic exhibit. And right now I just have like metal cages because we haven't put that much money into the zoo. So I don't know. I guess let's go with, yeah, you know what? Fuck it. Let's go with a wolf and let's go with a bear. Like creatures that are definitely local, are definitely around, but most people are not going to come within like 6 feet of a bear. You know. So let's just do that. Because I don't think that'll be really that tough. I think we can hand wave it. I probably am just gonna have to shell out a certain amount of money. Both are kind of tricky, I guess, because wolves usually are in packs. And we need to capture like 1 or 2 of them. So the locals can feed them. Oh god. I mean, feeding the unicorn is probably alright. Because I mean, it doesn't need food. Again, I'm basing my information off of what was that website we were on? MagicalUnicornLife.com was our consultant website here. And it says they don't need to eat. They get energy from the sun through their horns, but they do like eating. And we could probably find out what they eat here. Unicorns can indeed consume the same foods you normally feed horses with. Hay, grass, oats, leaves, and flowers are everyday foods for all unicorns. However, lucky unicorns are able to eat a variety of foods, and horse food is not their only option. They can even eat human foods. Each unicorn has its favorite foods. In Madeline Swanson's excellent book, Unicorn Secrets, 30 Magical Secrets of Reina the Unicorn reveals she loves tacos. Holy shit. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we'll sell food that people can give to the unicorn, but I don't really want people feeding the bear and the wolves and the griffin. Anything meat eating usually does not get fed by visitors. So sure, carrots will work fine. Let me just think of how many men I'm going to need to hire for how long to capture a bear alive and a wolf or two. Or three. Should be pretty easy. I don't know. I honestly have no idea. How many? I don't know. Hunting a bear, one guy could do, but capturing a bear alive and transporting it back, that's trickier. How many? I mean, how many men does it take to lift a bear? This says 10, and they'd all better be able to deadlift 600 pounds each. Oh, that's that's if they want to wrestle a bear to the ground. It doesn't seem like there's any results on lifting a bear. That's all I want to. I don't want to wrestle a bear. Why is that all the results? It's just about men fighting bears. Roll if it turns out to be an albino or magical bear. Well, that would be pretty slim, I feel. But sure, we can make a roll. Let's say 6. What are we thinking for like an adult bear? Like 800 pounds or something? How heavy is a bear? An adult male black bear can weigh up to 600 pounds. So if I have 6 men, they all have to be able to lift 100 pounds. That seems like a lot. I don't know anything about anything. It's sedated, so it should be lighter. So 2 people. What? Why would sedating a bear? That makes it harder. It's dead weight. Lifting an unconscious human is difficult. Like, that's why they have the fireman's carry and stuff, because like picking up and lifting an unconscious human is really tough for one person. And that's, 150. This is 4 times that. So I guess we'll say 6. Maybe they're the men in this time, they're built hardier. Maybe they can handle it. So we'll just go 6. But I don't think I can just hire laborers for this. They have to be capable. And there's the question of fucking... I don't think we're going to go with sedation. Just because it's too expensive. I think we're going for just a live capture with nets. If a single person can hunt a bear and get it back home, 2 should be enough. Well, I said 1 person could kill a bear. I don't know anything about 1 person bringing a bear back. D&D says it's 200 pounds for a full-grown bear. I get, maybe? It seems small. Most of the animals have an average body mass that ranges between 200 and 500 pounds. The sun bear rarely weighs more than 100 pounds, while the average male polar bear can grow to a startling 1,100 pounds. The heaviest recorded bear in history, 2,200-pound polar bear. Good God. I guess it's not fair then to go with the heaviest, because the heaviest human is certainly not average. Base height. 4'9", modifiers 1d6, base weight 200-pound weight modifier times 10 pounds. Regardless, let's just go with 6. I think it's just a fair number. You know, and more people to kind of just contain the situation and but whatever. Overwhelm it. So we're going to need at least one specialist, like one ranger out there. And I guess I could include myself. I don't have to administrate. I could go out there. So, fine. I'll do that. And then we'll hire 5 people. And really, I mean, what are we talking about here? Just throwing a net over it and then weighing it down and chaining it up? It seems fraught with danger. Like, if you don't involve sedatives. This is why they didn't used to do this in the olden days. I guess you could set a trap. Live traps, leg snares, tranquilization. Wrestle it down. Oh, God. It's horrible. We were supposed to just hand wave all this, but I can't help myself. I have to think it all through logically so that nothing goes wrong. I can't just say, yeah, we get a bear. God. It's because I started thinking about how much money was going to... Fuck, I'm done. I'm done. I'm not thinking about it. I'm not thinking... We're just going to throw money at the problem. I don't care. We're going to throw 600 silver. It's done. It's done. It's done. I don't want to think about it. We want to move on from this little arc of capturing wildlife. Alright, so let me roll a d4 to see how many wolves I get. 4. Okay, wow. So, let's see here. June 6th through... it's going to be 6 weeks from May 8th. Which is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, June 19th. Can roll if it's a female pregnant bear, so I can get little cubs. Okay, fine. Let's do the roll to see if it's like a magical bear or a unique bear of some kind. Basically, if I roll a 1, that's the case. All right, it's a normal bear. If I roll 1 through 10, it's female. 11 through 20, it's male. It's male. That settles that. Okay. Sad, I know. Captured male bear and 4 wolves. Zoo finished. All right, so the zoo is now complete. We have our sort of fenced wall perimeter. We've got our little ticket booth or whatever at the entrance. We've got our 4 exhibits, our 4 cages, the griffin, the unicorn, the bear, and the 4 wolves. And then we have like a little carrot stand next to the unicorn for people that want to buy carrots to feed to the unicorn. And then we have another small building that is like the office, the management office. That's the zoo. So now I guess it just runs. Like, we don't really have to think about it too much. So every quarter, we roll 2d20 on the property and enterprise events table to generate a scenario for us to deal with. If we decide to intervene, play out the scenario as a small adventure, the outcome should have a consequence for the enterprise. Otherwise, it just operates in the background, run by NPCs. At the end of the year, we roll the appropriate die for income and deduct maintenance cost. And if it's a negative figure, we either have to pay the loss or generate a side quest to meet their obligations. And we can do advantage or disadvantage on rolls based on the outcome of events during the year. Make some days pass. Honestly, I think we might have a year pass. The only issue with that is that there is a war going on currently, and I kind of do want that to, like, not be a static thing. Like, I do kind of want that to progress. And what you would do normally is you'd create, like, a front. Like, just like an organizational tool, and you'd have, like, basically, like, timers that just kind of continue to progress. Because I think I said, I don't know where I said this. But basically, if no other factor acts upon this war between the Empire of Nim and the Golden Union, the Empire of Nim will eventually win. I haven't decided how long it'll take or in what form that victory will take, like how much of the continent will be fucked, or you know, I have not thought about any specifics yet. But eventually, Nim will win. But I mean, the ballpark in my head was like 5 years. But honestly, it probably is even longer than that. I don't think this is going to be... I think it's going to kind of be protracted, because the Empire of Nim pretty much just go wherever their gods are, and the gods can't be controlled, so they really only have one god on Aeroth that started this whole thing, and they're probably like continuing to wait for the other gods to like follow it, but that's not happening. So they don't really... They're running airships like back and forth constantly to send troops to the front line and resupply and things like that. But probably, I guess, maybe what does eventually tip the scales is that one other god does manage to make its way over there. As perhaps unlikely as that might be. But yeah, I guess let's do a year. Let's just have a year. Let's have all our work with the zoo kind of amount to something. And we'll have 1 year pass. It's very exciting, isn't it? That's very rare. Honestly, I don't know if I've ever played in an RPG campaign where we just ticked by us a whole year. Okay. So, I guess I shouldn't tick by a whole year all at once, because every quarter we have to do an event. And we don't have to actually play it out if we don't want to, like if it doesn't interest me. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure what happens if you don't play it out. It says if the players decide to intervene, play out the scenario as a small adventure. The outcome should have a consequence for the Enterprise. But if the role that I get is like competition / partnership, I guess partnership, you could just decide, nah, fuck off. One of the animals gets sick, do I have to find a vet? That's a good question. Do vets exist? I mean, there's gotta be like horse doctors and stuff. That's probably been around for quite a while. Let's look. We got all these fun Google searches that we do nowadays. Story of veterinary medicine goes back to Urlugaladina, who lived in 3000 BC in Mesopotamia and was an expert in healing animals. So yes, especially in a big farming community, like for sure, we're gonna have some animal doctors. I don't think they have much experience with griffins, perhaps, or unicorns, but as we've seen, a unicorn is pretty similar to a horse. I'm sure they'll be able to figure it out. All right, so let's do the first quarter then. This is a 2d20 roll. So we're rolling for the opportunity / threat, and then we're rolling for the risk or opportunity of that event. So the first one, 11-15, resource discovery / loss, with a medium opportunity. So a resource discovery with a medium opportunity. Well, a resource, I guess, would be another animal. And it's a medium opportunity, so it's something that's like pretty good. Not like insanely good, but I think it's above like a boar or a bear. It's something unusual. I don't know. I mean, this could be pretty basic. This could basically be just like a hunter captured some creature and wants to sell it to me. That's really like... But that's sort of the tricky thing. Is like, how do you adjudicate something kind of nebulous like that as far as the impact that it has on my year? I don't feel like adding one sort of slightly magical creature to my zoo will give me advantage on my rolls for the year. So I don't know. Honestly, if I was the DM and my players built the zoo, like I'd be coming up with all sorts of custom rules for their zoo. Just so we kind of were clear about everything. And I could do that for this game, but maybe I start a trend where people start capturing magical beasts and they try and sell us them. Yes, that is eventually my goal. I just didn't think it would happen in the first quarter. So, I don't know. We may just skip this one. And because I don't have another cage anyways, and we have to pay a bunch of money to expand the zoo. So, yeah, we'll just skip that opportunity. All right, second quarter. Here we go. 8 and 8. Hunger/bounty. Low risk of loss. Hunger/bounty. Okay. Basically, like someone, what, tries to like steal one of my animals? How would I know about it ahead of time? Like, I don't know if I would. But a bounty. Like the governor's putting out a bounty on all. I don't know. He's putting out a bounty on wolves because there's a wolf problem in the region. And somebody's going to try and just kill my wolves and hand them in. It seems kind of dumb, but I guess it's an easy kill. Like, if you got into the zoo after hours, you could just kill them in a cage and then hand it in. I guess some crazy peasant might be desperate enough to do so. I don't know if this is really a small adventure. It's more just like hiring extra guards to just kind of stand watch overnight. But again, like, how do you adjudicate that for the whole year? Certainly that's a cost, but the numbers are all like small. I feel like we'd have to break it down. We'd have to actually break down all the numbers. Get some zookeepers that are strong enough to keep watch. Just a bunch of big, sexy, burly zookeepers standing guard around my place. Because basically at the end of the year, we're going to be rolling a D4 for income times 1,000, I believe. Yep. And then we're going to be deducting 2,000 from that number. And that's how it's handled. So we could break down the numbers further at that point and deduct an extra, I don't know, 200 or something for, better security. I guess. Or we take a low risk of loss, but that's not a low risk of loss. Well, I guess it is a low risk that somebody will actually break in. So maybe we just let it slide. But that's the thing. If I am choosing not to break down numbers, I don't know what I'm really losing by hiring extra security. It's only if I choose to break down the numbers further and actually run like a spreadsheet, then it's like, okay, this is an actual cost that I am paying. Let's God help me, I'm probably going to break down all the numbers. That's probably how we're going to end up doing it. But I don't want to lose any of my animals. That sets a very bad precedent. So fuck it. We're going to hire some extra security. And we'll worry about what that costs later. And that ends it. Whether or not they bust someone in the process or not, whatever. But the risk is removed, I'm going to say. Okay, third quarter. We got feud slash calm and medium opportunity. So a calm period. I guess that just means business and prosperity in the region is at a good spot. Um, the port is working well, and people are happy to check out the zoo. I don't know again what sort of adventure this would involve as far as an opportunity. I could put some money into marketing. Basically, we're pushing towards like advantage on that D4 roll. That's basically what we're trying to achieve. And it's up to the DM to determine if the group has achieved that for the year. Uh, so I guess let's put some extra money into marketing. Maybe get some barkers on the street of Guthwald advertising the zoo. We get some pamphlets with like some drawings of the griffin and the unicorn and like once in a lifetime opportunity Garland's Emporium of the weird and unusual. So let's throw another 150 at that. Um, So I'm just going to write down an extra 350 for expenses. And yeah, I mean, we'll just say that at this point we probably have gained advantage on our roll. Let's do the final quarter. 4-9. Good slash bad harvest. Low risk of loss. Okay, so bad harvest, low risk of loss. Hmm. How would the harvest really affect? I mean, the harvest is a big deal for the region. And it almost certainly is going to be a bad harvest just due to the effects of the spores, the lingering effects of that in the region. This is the year that it kind of is going to be impacted. I just don't know how it would really impact my business outside of feed. And then a low risk of loss. I don't think my animals would starve to death, but maybe I do have to like pay extra. But this is not like a risk. This is just like an extra cost that I'm bearing. I guess you could turn it into a risk. Anything could be a dice roll. So I guess I could say I'm not going to go out of my way to buy like extra food and stock up or buy it from the port or anything like that. And then we do a dice roll to see if some animal doesn't fare well or whatever. I guess you could do it that way. Couldn't I just go out and hunt some animals as well? Um, yeah, I suppose. I mean, I would imagine the region is fairly well hunted. I would think of like deer and other and rabbit and boar and stuff like that. Um, because it's a big city. There's a lot of peasants, plenty of people in the slums and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I could. There's always a risk there of me being attacked by something. Random encounters can always happen. Um, do I want to risk my animals over lack of food? Not really. But also, I mean, these expenses now are adding up. Even if we get the 4 on the D4, we deduct 2, so that's 2,000. I mean, the profit for the year then at this rate is 1650 silver, which is not great because we could just go into like a dungeon and find some magical scepter and sell that for a few thousand. But we want to build up the zoo to be like big boy level. Because eventually you can get to a D20 on the income, which would be insane with advantage. We could pull in 20,000 silver a year. It's pretty sweet. But that's a long ways off, and you have to invest a lot of money in. Because to go from small to medium, we have to double the current cost. So we'd have to pay 10,000 to get that bump up. And then we'll get a D6 for income. So we're talking years at this rate. Unless we really get outside funding. AKA funding from Garland himself through other expeditions and things like that. What about an event where I made a rich noble and he wants to invest more into the zoo? Well, that would be incredible, wouldn't it? I think that probably is one of the like partnership is one of the events here listed. So you could do something like that if we end up rolling that. But then, he's going to want a percentage of the profits. And if he invests enough money that we can grow to like a large zoo, with a D8 on income, then maybe. I don't know. It's all hard to say. But I need to decide if I want to throw the extra. Whatever. I'm just gonna spend an extra 150. Again, just making up numbers as we go. All right, and that's all the events. So now we're gonna do the end of the year profit. I'm gonna give myself advantage because I think I did everything as well as I could have, and honestly, I think we got quite the little zoo as far as the creatures that we accumulated. So this is going to be a D4. All right, we got the 4. And then deduct 2 from that, and then deduct 500 from that. 1,500 is our profit, my personal profit, which is not too shabby. It bumps us back up to 4,100 in our bank account. And then another year would go by, and another year would go by. 4K income minus 2K maintenance equals 1,500. And that's the zoo. So at this point, it probably wouldn't be very interesting as far as our campaign to just sit here and keep running the zoo. We do want to keep expanding it. We do want to be on the lookout for capturing other creatures and bringing them back. But I think we probably want to find some other adventure to go on. But I'm not sure what form that will take. Like I said, I mean, there is a war going on. I kind of want to help people on the war front, but also I'm not like a general. I'm not a soldier. Right now I'm just very sneaky and clever. So I don't know how much help I could be on the war front. So I don't know. We'll have to see. Also, I'm not quite prepared to level myself up to level 3. We've been doing all these little side adventure things, but I don't know. There hasn't really been much. Like, it's mostly just been me like trying to logically work through the whole thing, and then we do it, and it ends up being quite simple because we've figured everything out beforehand. That's basically what's been going on. So I feel like we need to get into some
unexpected trouble for me to grow as a character. I don't know. But all right, I think that's going to wrap up this session. Overall, pretty good. I mean, my goal for this session was to get the zoo up and running, and we definitely have that. So it's now just passively making us money. Even if we don't do anything else with it, it will make money. But most RPG campaigns, like D&D and stuff, this time scale is very small. Like, a campaign will take place over the course of like a month or I mean, it depends. I think the biggest campaign we had maybe took place over the course of a year. um so most of the time when you're out in the world, you're adventuring, you're going into dungeons and doing all these things and helping townspeople, like, not that much time passes. So I feel like for property and stuff, you really have to specifically say, like, oh yeah, we're just going to sit here for a few years, which is kind of, that doesn't really happen too often in fantasy stories. After a year, I have a good manager now as well. Yeah, that's probably true. I'm sure Garland has kind of offloaded the management work so he can free himself up to go on adventures. And we'll sort that all out next time. Good stuff, though. I had ChatGPT come up with an image of a magical zoo. This is quite magical looking, but it's not too shabby. I mean, it's very colorful, and there's a lot of flying creatures hovering. I don't know if those are creatures or like sculptures or something. Also, the security on all these. I mean, there's just like light, tiny fences. This is a little too fantastical. My zoo does not look anything like this. My zoo is probably a bit more depressing than that, but still. That looks more like a map. Yeah, it is. It is questionable. But all right, good stuff. Good stuff. My name is Mang. This has been Solo Roll Manging with the zoo adventures. And I'll see you fine folks next time.